some of the modernization ideas and other related challenges in the industry that are out there, Woody. So we have a lot of discussion about hybrid appraisals, hybrid appraisals, which are in some cases known as bifurcated, but a hybrid, just to define it, is where one entity does the data collection and the physical walkthrough of the property, and another entity, the appraiser, takes that information and uses it to form an opinion of value, essentially from their desk. The result is an appraisal, but it was done by two different components. So this is something that a lot of people feel could solve many challenges in the industry, one of which is capacity, appraisers being able to do more appraisals in the same amount of time. So give me your thoughts on the hybrid process and what you might have seen or experienced in your business.
Get the censorship button on. Long story short, that's a super complicated issue. We spent a lot of time looking at bifurcated appraising. Is confusing for a lot of us that have been in the field for a couple of decades, like I have been, because I mean the original way that bifurcation actually worked is a good appraiser or a good appraisal firm would actually hire good staff people, have trainees and such. And there's been a real kind of almost a moratorium on a lot of lenders wanting to allow trainees. So it's a little confusing to us now that we've gone into a market now presently, and they're coming to us and saying, well, we would like you to use someone that you know nothing about to come in and do the data gathering for you. And I know on the surface it's possible to do that, and it can work, but I would rather do like what the VA is doing, where they're actually allowing me as the appraiser to have a relationship with whomever I would like to send out to do that work. And obviously as the appraiser, I need to have someone that I trust and that's been well trained to do it. So it's a confusing thing for us, for a lot of the appraisers when we talk about it. I think bifurcation, there's a place for it, but I don't know that Congress is ever going to be completely comfortable with, because the position that, the taxpayer gets put into with having to bail out these large lenders when something bad happens. I think they still want to, for the most part, for us to be going in a very pragmatic way to do it. But I think bifurcation can certainly work, and like with HELOCs and relatively low risk loans, it's probably okay. But the elephant in the room with it, and I never like to discuss fees, and I try to stay as far away from it as I can. But what's driving bifurcation is really trying to get the cheapest alternative. And unfortunately, that's never the answer. Good quality analysis needs to be given and paid for. And, trying to removing a component that's, the inspection part of it is a major part of time. But, in the same token, trying to take the fee down to such a low level, because the fees they pay for those things generally are very, very low. And most good appraisers are too busy making good revenue doing traditional work. And that's the reason I think a lot of people have struggled to place these things with appraisers.
We also hear in the same vein around hybrids, around the ability to shorten the turn time. Is that something that you've had any experience with, or do you think that is a possibility, putting some of your other concerns aside?
It's certainly, I think bifurcation can work in certain circumstances, but let's look at it from a different view. Instead of trying to come up with something completely tangent from the normal valuation process, give the appraisers back the autonomy to work with trainees and to work with other staff people to do this. At Accurity, we've been able to essentially do that through a collaborative team effort. All of our offices, we offer both traditional and what we call collaborative teamwork. And I'm not trying to give you a commercial about what Accurity does, but we have figured out it's a private sector solution, I think, that's going to help reinvent what traditional appraising really does. It's almost like a paradigm shift. That's why I came over here to work, because I've been really interested in what Mark and Mike and everybody over here has been doing. And basically, it's allowing the appraiser to be in control of that process. And are we shortening turn times? Absolutely. We've been in some markets where we're able to do, same day and even next day turn. You can't do that in every situation, because some properties just don't allow it, or your workload or whatever, you can't do it. But there's been situations where we've been able to help a client out that was in desperate need to get a fast turn on something, and it works really well. But I think we should be looking for the solution coming from the appraiser sometimes, not making up. Let the appraiser be part of solving the solution, not being told, this is how we're going to do it, because sometimes good intentions don't really work well, if you know what I mean.
There's a lot of discussion. Yeah, a lot of discussion on those topics. Thanks for your perspective.